This video contains a total of 2 stories with a horror theme. In the background, you will hear soft rain and sometimes lightning. I hope you will enjoy it and have a great night's sleep. The thick, oppressive mist of the Louisiana swamp clung to everything, a shroud of obscurity that blurred the lines between reality and myth. As the rickety boat carved its way through the murky waters, Amelia Blackwood's heart raced with a mixture of anticipation and trepidation. Each ripple in the water, each rustle in the dense underbrush seemed to whisper ancient secrets that beckoned her deeper into the abyss. Her guide, a weather-beaten local named Jean-Luc, maneuvered the boat expertly, his hands calloused from years of navigating these treacherous waters. His eyes, however, held a cautionary tale, a silent warning that resonated with the very soul of the swamp. "You're treading on sacred ground, Miss Blackwood," he muttered, his voice tinged with a thick Cajun accent. "Tread lightly, lest ye awaken the spirits that dwell here." Amelia, clad in practical attire suited for exploration, fixed her gaze on the horizon. Her eyes, sharp and inquisitive, betrayed a mind that thrived on unravelling mysteries. "I've travelled a long way to uncover the truth, Jean-Luc," she replied, her voice tinged with determination. "Legends and folklore are woven from threads of truth. I intend to find the source." The boat glided past twisted cypress trees draped in Spanish moss, their gnarled roots plunging into the murky depths below. Occasional flashes of vibrant wildlife pierced the monochrome palette, a fleeting glimpse of an alligator's eyes, a symphony of croaks and chirps echoing through the mist. Yet, despite the teeming life, an unsettling stillness pervaded the air, a silence that spoke volumes of the swamp's dark history. As they ventured deeper, Jean-Luc began to recount tales passed down through generations. Stories of vanished explorers swallowed whole by the marsh, of ancient rituals performed beneath the shadowy canopy, of a lost civilization that once thrived before succumbing to the swamp's insidious embrace. Each word was a brushstroke painting a vivid tapestry of intrigue and danger, casting shadows that danced at the periphery of Amelia's consciousness. "The swamp protects its secrets, Miss Blackwood," Jean-Luc warned, his eyes narrowing as if recalling a past he wished to forget. "Many have ventured in search of answers only to become lost souls trapped between worlds. Heed my words, or you may join them." Yet Amelia's resolve remained unshaken. The allure of the unknown beckoned her forward, a siren's call that resonated with her very essence. "I faced dangers before, Jean-Luc," she replied, her voice unwavering. "The pursuit of knowledge demands sacrifice. I'm willing to risk it all." The boat finally came to a halt, nestled against a muddy embankment shrouded in mist. As Amelia stepped onto the damp soil, a palpable energy coursed through her veins, a primal force that transcended time and space. She felt connected to something ancient, something powerful, lurking beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered. With a nod of gratitude, she watched Jean-Luc disappear into the mist, leaving her alone amidst the towering cypress trees and haunting silence. As the boat receded into the distance, Amelia took a deep breath, steeling herself for the journey ahead. The swamp's secrets beckoned, and she would stop at nothing to uncover the truth. In the heart of the Louisiana marsh, amidst whispers of the past and shadows of the unknown, Amelia Blackwood took her first tentative steps into the abyss, unaware of the horrors that awaited her in the murky depths below. Amelia Blackwood's footsteps squelched against the damp, spongy earth as she ventured deeper into the labyrinthine heart of the Louisiana swamp. Each step seemed to pull her further from civilization and deeper into a realm untouched by time, a realm where ancient whispers hung heavy in the humid air. The morning mist clung to the twisted cypress trees like ethereal veils, their gnarled roots rising from the murky waters like skeletal fingers grasping at the souls of the damned. The soft, mournful croak of a distant bullfrog echoed through the stillness, accompanied by the haunting cry of a lone heron soaring overhead. It was a world teetering on the edge of reality, a place where myth and legend danced in the shadows, waiting to ensnare the unwary. Drawing a weathered map from her satchel, Amelia traced her finger along the faded ink lines that promised hidden secrets and untold mysteries. Her heart quickened with anticipation as she recalled the tales she'd heard. Stories of vanished explorers, spectral apparitions, and forbidden rituals performed beneath the veil of the night. These were not mere tales spun by idle minds. They were echoes of a past steeped in blood, sacrifice, and ancient rites. As the sun climbed higher, piercing the veil of mist with golden rays, Amelia stumbled upon a secluded clearing adorned with weathered totems and cryptic symbols carved into ancient stones. The air grew thick with the scent of decay and moss, and an unsettling stillness settled over the swamp, as if nature itself held its breath in anticipation. Cautiously, Amelia approached the stone altar at the clearing's centre, her fingers tracing the intricate carvings that depicted scenes of ritualistic ceremonies and celestial alignments. Each symbol seemed to pulse with a life of its own, resonating with a power that defied explanation. It was as if the stones themselves whispered secrets lost to time, beckoning her to unlock the mysteries they guarded. Lost in her reverie, Amelia failed to notice the subtle shift in her surroundings, the soft rustle of leaves, the distant murmur of voices carried on the wind. It was only when a shadowy figure emerged from the depths of the swamp, his presence heralded by the mournful wail of a distant banshee, that she realized she was not alone. The figure loomed before her, cloaked in tattered garments that blended seamlessly with the shadows. His eyes, devoid of warmth or humanity, bore into hers with an intensity that sent a shiver down her spine. This was not a man of the modern world. This was a guardian of ancient secrets, a sentinel tasked with protecting the swamp's dark legacy. "Who dares trespass upon sacred ground?" the figure intoned, his voice echoing with a resonance that seemed to emanate from the very depths of the earth. Gathering her wits, Amelia met the figure's gaze, her resolve hardening like tempered steel. "I am Amelia Blackwood," she declared, her voice unwavering. "I seek knowledge, not trespass. What secrets does this swamp conceal?" The figure regarded her with a mixture of curiosity and suspicion, his gaze piercing through her defences. "The swamp," he whispered, his voice tinged with a hint of reverence, "holds secrets that would drive men mad." "Holds secrets that would drive men mad. Are you prepared to face the darkness that lurks within?" As the words echoed through the clearing, the ancient totems seemed to tremble, and the cryptic symbols glowed with an otherworldly light. It was a warning, a harbinger of the trials that awaited Amelia in her quest for understanding. Unfazed, Amelia squared her shoulders, her eyes ablaze with determination. "I am prepared to face whatever lies ahead," she declared, her voice tinged with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. "The secrets of the swamp will not remain hidden forever, and I will be the one to uncover them." The figure regarded her for a moment longer, his eyes narrowing as if weighing her worthiness. Then, with a nod of reluctant approval, he vanished into the shadows, leaving Amelia alone once more with the ancient stones and the whispers of a past that refused to be forgotten. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the swamp into darkness, Amelia knew that her journey had only just begun. The path ahead was fraught with peril and uncertainty, but she would not waver. For in the heart of the Louisiana swamp, amidst the echoes of the past and the whispers of the ancients, lay the key to unlocking a mystery that could change the course of history forever. And so, beneath the watchful gaze of the moon and stars, Amelia Blackwood vowed to uncover the secrets of the swamp, no matter the cost. For she knew that the answers she sought were hidden in the shadows, waiting to be discovered by those brave enough to seek the truth. The Louisiana sun dipped below the horizon, casting elongated shadows across the murky waters of the swamp. The evening mist began to rise, enveloping the twisted cypress trees in a shroud of ethereal fog. Amelia Blackwood, undeterred by the encroaching darkness, continued her exploration, her lantern casting a flickering glow over the waterlogged terrain. As she navigated through the labyrinthine channels, Amelia sensed an unsettling stillness in the air. The chorus of nocturnal creatures fell silent, replaced by an eerie quietude that sent shivers down her spine. A rustling in the underbrush caught her attention, and she felt an unseen presence watching her every move. Suddenly, a deep, resonant voice pierced the silence, echoing through the mist-shrouded swamp. "You tread on sacred ground, outsider," the voice intoned, filled with a menace that sent a chill down Amelia's spine. Emerging from the fog, a hulking figure materialized, his eyes gleaming with an intensity that pierced the darkness. It was Ezekiel Crow, the enigmatic guardian of the swamp's secrets, his presence radiating an aura of malevolent power. Dressed in tattered garments adorned with cryptic symbols, he stood before Amelia like a spectral apparition, a living embodiment of the ancient traditions he vowed to protect. "Who are you, and what do you seek in these forbidden waters?" Ezekiel's voice was laced with suspicion, his gaze probing Amelia's soul for answers. Despite the palpable tension, Amelia maintained her composure, her ethnographer's curiosity overcoming her instinctual fear. "I'm Amelia Blackwood, an ethnographer in search of forgotten cultures and lost civilizations," she replied, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "I mean no harm. I'm merely seeking to understand the mysteries that lie within this swamp." Ezekiel's eyes narrowed, weighing her words with a skeptical scrutiny. "Many have come before you, blinded by curiosity and driven by greed," he growled, his voice echoing ominously in the stillness. "They sought to plunder the swamp's treasures, ignorant of the ancient rituals that bind this land." As he spoke, the ground beneath them seemed to tremble, and the air grew thick with a palpable sense of foreboding. Amelia felt a surge of apprehension, realizing that she had stumbled upon a conflict far greater than she had imagined. The clash between modernity and ancient traditions was personified in this tense standoff, and the stakes were higher than she could have ever anticipated. "Listen well, outsider," Ezekiel continued, his voice resonating with a commanding authority. "You have been warned. Leave this place and abandon your quest, or face the wrath of forces beyond your comprehension." Despite Ezekiel's ominous warning, Amelia's curiosity was piqued, her resolve strengthened by the tantalizing prospect of uncovering the swamp's secrets. Yet, as she met Ezekiel's unwavering gaze, she realized that her journey had only just begun, and the true horrors of the marsh awaited her in the shadows. As the chapter drew to a close, the tension between Amelia and Ezekiel reached a fever pitch, setting the stage for a confrontation that would test their beliefs, challenge their resolve, and unleash forces that could consume them both. The Guardian's warning echoed ominously in the night, a chilling reminder of the perils that lurked within the heart of the swamp and the relentless pursuit of knowledge that threatened to unleash them. Amelia's lantern cast flickering shadows against the moss-covered walls as she ventured deeper into the labyrinthine heart of the swamp. The air grew thick with a palpable tension, a tangible weight that pressed against her chest with each step she took. Each footfall squelched in the muddy ground, echoing like a haunting melody through the ancient corridors of twisted roots and vines. Her fingers traced the intricate carvings that adorned the walls, symbols, and glyphs that spoke of a civilization long forgotten by time. The dim light from her lantern danced across the hieroglyphs, revealing glimpses of rituals, ceremonies, and a culture steeped in mysticism. Each discovery sent a shiver down Amelia's spine, a mixture of exhilaration and dread that fueled her determination to uncover the truth. The silence of the swamp was deafening, broken only by the distant chirping of unseen creatures and the occasional rustle of leaves in the wind. Yet, beneath the eerie stillness, Amelia sensed a presence, an ancient energy that pulsed through the air like a heartbeat, beckoning her deeper into the abyss. As she navigated the winding corridors, Amelia stumbled upon a chamber bathed in a soft ethereal glow. The walls were adorned with frescoes depicting scenes of celestial bodies, sacred ceremonies, and a deity-like figure adorned in regalia that hinted at a position of divine reverence. In the center of the chamber stood an ornate pedestal, upon which rested a tome bound in cracked leather and inscribed with arcane symbols. With trembling hands, Amelia approached the pedestal and carefully opened the tome. The pages were filled with handwritten script, a language unknown to her but eerily familiar in its cadence and rhythm. As she traced her fingers over the text, a sudden gust of wind extinguished her lantern, plunging the chamber into darkness. Panic surged through Amelia as the darkness enveloped her, the weight of the swamp pressing against her like a suffocating blanket. In the void, she heard whispers, soft, melodious voices that echoed through the chamber, weaving a tapestry of ancient chants and incantations that resonated in her very soul. With a trembling voice, Amelia began to recite the incantations, her words echoing the whispers that surrounded her. As she spoke, the chamber illuminated with an otherworldly light, revealing a hidden passage concealed behind the chamber's walls. With newfound determination, she ventured into the passage, guided by the whispers and the promise of uncovering the swamp's darkest secrets. As Amelia navigated the treacherous passage, she felt the presence growing stronger, its ancient energy pulsating with increasing intensity. With each step, she felt herself drawing closer to the heart of the swamp's mysteries, the line between reality and myth blurring as she delved deeper into the abyss. Finally, the passage opened into a vast chamber, its walls adorned with statues of grotesque figures and altars adorned with offerings. In the center of the chamber stood Ezekiel Crow, his eyes ablaze with a malevolent energy that sent chills down Amelia's spine. Their eyes locked, and in that moment Amelia realized the true nature of her quest. The stakes had never been higher, and the ancient secrets of the swamp were about to be revealed in a climactic confrontation that would forever alter the course of her destiny. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting elongated shadows across the murky waters of the Louisiana swamp. Amelia Blackwood, her lantern casting a flickering glow, felt a chill crawl up her spine, distinct from the swamp's oppressive humidity. The air was thick with tension, a tangible force that seemed to press against her from all sides. As she waded through the waist-deep water, the squelching of mud beneath her boots was accompanied by an unsettling chorus of whispers. They were faint, almost imperceptible at first, like the rustling of leaves or the murmur of distant voices. Yet, with each step deeper into the swamp's heart, the whispers grew louder, more insistent, weaving a tapestry of eerie chants and cryptic messages that echoed through the mist-shrouded trees. Amelia's lantern flickered erratically, casting fleeting shadows that danced and swirled around her. Every so often she caught a glimpse of a shadowy figure lurking just beyond the edge of her vision, its form shifting and morphing with each passing moment. The sensation was unnerving, a constant reminder that she was not alone in this ancient, forgotten place. Suddenly, a bone-chilling howl echoed through the swamp, sending shivers down Amelia's spine. It was a sound unlike anything she'd ever heard before, a haunting melody that resonated with the very soul of the swamp. As the howl faded into a haunting silence, the whispers grew louder, their voices intertwining in a cacophony of despair and longing. Drawing closer to her destination, Amelia stumbled upon a clearing bathed in an ethereal blue light. In the center stood a series of ancient stone pillars covered in intricate carvings and symbols that pulsated with an otherworldly energy. At their base, a pool of inky black water shimmered ominously, reflecting the twisted faces of forgotten gods and unspeakable horrors. As she approached the stone pillars, Amelia felt a sudden wave of dizziness wash over her, followed by a profound sense of dread. The whispers reached a fevered pitch, their voices merging into a single, haunting chant that reverberated through the swamp's murky depths. "Beware the guardian of the night," they whispered, "for he who disturbs the sacred rites shall unleash a darkness that consumes all." At that moment, the shadowy figure emerged from the mist, its form solidifying into the menacing silhouette of Ezekiel Crow. His eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, reflecting the depths of the swamp's ancient secrets and the darkness that lurked within. "You've come too far, Amelia," Ezekiel's voice echoed, his words laced with a chilling certainty. "The swamp's secrets are not meant for mortal eyes. Leave now, or face the consequences." Amelia, her heart pounding in her chest, met Ezekiel's gaze with unwavering determination. The stakes had never been higher, and she knew that she stood on the precipice of discovery or doom. The chapter closed with a palpable sense of anticipation, setting the stage for a final confrontation that would determine the fate of Amelia, Ezekiel, and the ancient secrets that lay hidden within the shadows and whispers of the Louisiana swamp. The air was thick with tension as Amelia Blackwood cautiously navigated the labyrinthine pathways of the swamp, each step muffled by the soft, squelching mud beneath her boots. The moon hung low in the sky, casting elongated shadows that danced and flickered among the twisted cypress trees, as if the very forest were alive and watching her every move. Her heart pounded in her chest, echoing loudly in the oppressive silence that enveloped the swamp. Every rustle of leaves, every distant whisper seemed amplifying her senses to a heightened state of awareness. She could feel it, the palpable presence of Ezekiel Crow lurking somewhere in the murky depths, waiting for the opportune moment to strike. A sudden chill raced down her spine as she entered a clearing, illuminated by the ethereal glow of a flickering torch. And there, amidst the gnarled roots and hanging moss, stood Ezekiel, his eyes ablaze with a fiery intensity that pierced the darkness, his weathered face, etched with lines of age and wisdom, or perhaps madness, was set in a grim expression of determination. "Amelia Blackwood," he rasped, his voice like gravel beneath a boot, "I warned you to leave this place. Yet here you are, defying the ancient rites and trespassing upon sacred ground." Amelia squared her shoulders, steeling herself against the overwhelming sense of dread that threatened to consume her. "I'm here to uncover the truth," she declared defiantly, her voice echoing through the stillness. "To understand the rituals, the ceremonies, the very essence of this swamp. You can't stop me." A low, guttural growl escaped Ezekiel's lips as he stepped forward, his form casting long, ominous shadows that danced upon the ground like malevolent spirits. "You foolish girl!" he spat, his eyes narrowing to slits. "You underestimate the power that dwells within these waters, the ancient forces that have existed long before your kind walked this earth." With a swift, fluid motion, Ezekiel drew a gleaming dagger from his belt, its blade shimmering ominously in the dim light. "The time for warnings has passed," he hissed, his voice dripping with malice. "Now you must face the consequences of your actions." Adrenaline coursing through her veins, Amelia reached into her satchel and withdrew a collection of ritualistic artifacts she had gathered during her research. Holding them aloft, she began to chant in a language long forgotten, her voice resonating with an otherworldly power that seemed to vibrate through the very air itself. The ground beneath them trembled as ancient runas appeared, glowing with an eerie blue light that cast an ethereal glow upon their faces. The swamp itself seemed to come alive, with tendrils of mist coiling around them like serpents, binding them in a spectral embrace. A fierce battle of wills ensued, as Amelia and Ezekiel clashed amidst the swirling mists and haunting whispers, each move calculated, each gesture imbued with the power of ancient forces locked in a struggle as old as time itself. With a final, desperate incantation, Amelia unleashed a wave of energy that sent Ezekiel stumbling backward, his dagger clattering to the ground. Gasping for breath, he stared at her with a mixture of awe and disbelief, realizing he had underestimated her resolve. "You may have won this battle," he growled, his voice tinged with begrudging respect, "but the war for the soul of this swamp is far from over." Amelia nodded solemnly, her eyes meeting his with a steely resolve. "I will continue my research, Ezekiel," she vowed, "and nothing will stand in my way." As dawn broke over the horizon, casting its golden rays upon the still waters of the swamp, Amelia Blackwood knew that her quest had only just begun. But for now, she had survived the night, vanquished her adversary, and uncovered secrets that would haunt her dreams for years to come. The swamp whispered its ancient lullabies, the cypress trees swaying gently in the morning breeze as Amelia departed, leaving behind a world forever changed by the events that had unfolded beneath the moonlit skies. And somewhere, lurking in the shadows, Ezekiel Crow watched and waited, knowing that the battle for the heart and soul of the swamp had only just begun. The Bradley manufacturing plant, nestled on the outskirts of a forgotten town, loomed like a colossal spectre against the dimming twilight. A relic of industry's bygone era, its skeletal frame emerged from the overgrown foliage like the bones of some ancient leviathan. Rusted machinery, once the heartbeat of innovation, now stood frozen in time, their mechanical hum replaced by an eerie silence. Olivia Bennett, a 28-year-old translator with an insatiable curiosity for the obscure, gazed at the decaying facade. The factory's exterior bore witness to the passage of decades, windows shattered, walls adorned with graffiti like ancient cave paintings, and the air saturated with the pungent scent of rust and decay. The fading sunlight cast long shadows that danced upon the broken concrete, whispering tales of a forgotten past. As Olivia approached the entrance, a sense of foreboding gripped her. The wind, a reluctant visitor in this desolate place, carried with it the haunting echoes of a time long gone. Each creaking step on the gravel-strewn path felt like an intrusion into a realm where memories lay trapped, yearning to be unearthed. The factory's massive double doors, once a gateway to prosperity, now stood ajar, inviting Olivia into the abyss. Hesitation clawed at her, but the allure of untold stories and forgotten histories propelled her forward. With a deep breath, she crossed the threshold into the cavernous interior, where the air hung heavy with the weight of decades. Old secrets. Inside, a labyrinth of machinery greeted her, hulking giants that had once roared with life but now lay dormant. The dim light filtering through shattered windows painted surreal murals on the factory floor, illuminating dust particles suspended in the air like ethereal fireflies. Every step stirred the silence, punctuated only by the occasional creak and groan of the dilapidated structure. Olivia's footsteps echoed like a heartbeat in the vast emptiness, and a growing sense of isolation wrapped around her like a shroud. Yet the translator pressed on, drawn deeper into the heart of the factory, guided by an inexplicable pull towards the unknown. As she ventured further, the tales whispered by the rusting machinery became more distinct, revealing the voices of those who had toiled within these walls. Flickering fluorescent lights cast long, shifting shadows that seemed to dance to the melancholic rhythm of the factory's forgotten symphony. In the midst of this desolation, Olivia felt a connection with the past, an empathetic yearning to give voice to the silenced. The factory's secrets, she realized, were not confined to rusted bolts and forgotten blueprints. They were stories waiting to be translated, tales yearning to be told. The whispering ruins held a promise, and Olivia, fueled by a relentless curiosity, was determined to unveil the haunting echoes that lingered within. The moment Olivia Bennett stepped into the Bradley manufacturing plant, a chilling sensation crawled up her spine, like icy fingers tracing the contours of her vertebrae. The factory loomed before her, a decaying monument to a bygone era, its rusted facade standing as a silent testament to years of neglect and decay. Broken windows stared back at her like vacant eyes, hinting at the darkness that lay within. Taking a deep breath to steady her nerves, Olivia stepped over a threshold of crumbling bricks and ventured deeper into the factory's labyrinthine corridors. The air was thick with the scent of mildew and decay, punctuated by the metallic tang of rusted machinery. Every step echoed ominously, reverberating through the empty halls like a haunting melody. As Olivia explored further, she felt an overwhelming sense of isolation, as if the walls themselves were closing in around her. The factory seemed to pulsate with a life of its own, its heartbeat echoing in the distant hum of forgotten machinery and the soft whisper of shifting shadows. Dismissing her growing unease, Olivia pressed on, drawn by an irresistible curiosity to uncover the secrets that lay hidden within the factory's crumbling walls. Turning a corner, Olivia stumbled upon a makeshift office, its door hanging precariously from rusted hinges. Intrigued, she cautiously entered the room, her eyes scanning the cluttered desk and scattered documents that lay strewn about. Amongst the debris, she discovered a collection of old journals and faded photographs, each one offering a tantalizing glimpse into the factory's dark past. As she sifted through the documents, Olivia's translator instincts kicked in, compelling her to decipher the cryptic messages and forgotten languages that adorned the pages. The journals spoke of long hours and grueling labour, of workers trapped in a relentless cycle of exploitation and despair. Amidst the tales of hardship, Olivia uncovered whispers of a tragic accident, a dark chapter in the factory's history that had been buried beneath layers of secrecy and deception. Lost in her discoveries, Olivia failed to notice the subtle shift in the factory's atmosphere, the air growing colder as shadows danced menacingly on the walls. It was then that she felt it, a presence lurking in the shadows, watching her every move with malevolent intent. Startled, Olivia turned to confront her unseen assailant, but all she found was an empty room filled with echoes of the past. Shaking off her unease, Olivia resolved to delve deeper into the factory's mysteries, determined to uncover the truth behind the ghostly mechanic and the tragic events that had shaped his fate. Little did she know, her curiosity had awakened forces beyond her comprehension, setting the stage for a deadly game of cat and mouse that would test her courage, wit, and resolve. As she continued her exploration, Olivia felt a newfound determination coursing through her veins, driving her to uncover the secrets that lay hidden within the factory's decaying walls. Unbeknownst to her, the ghostly mechanic watched from the shadows, his spectral gaze fixated on the intrepid translator who dared to unearth the echoes of desolation that haunted his eternal resting place. The air inside the Bradley manufacturing plant was thick with anticipation. Each breath Olivia Bennett took laden with the weight of decades, old secrets. As she ventured deeper into the labyrinthine corridors, the distant echoes of machinery seemed to whisper tales of the past, drawing her further into the heart of the decaying factory. The dim light filtering through broken windows cast eerie shadows that danced across rusted walls, creating an otherworldly tableau that sent shivers down Olivia's spine. Yet, despite the palpable sense of dread that hung in the air, she pressed on, driven by an insatiable curiosity to uncover the truth. Her footsteps echoed ominously with each step, a haunting reminder of the souls who once walked these corridors. As she explored, Olivia stumbled upon a series of old documents and journals scattered amidst the debris. Wreaths of debris, relics of a bygone era that promised to reveal the factory's darkest secrets. Gingerly picking up a dusty journal, Olivia's heart raced as she deciphered the cryptic entries penned by former workers. The ink, faded and smudged with age, spoke of exploitation, greed, and a tragic accident that claimed the life of the ghostly mechanic. With each page she turned, Olivia felt a growing connection to the tormented souls whose voices echoed through the pages, pleading for justice. Suddenly, a cold gust of wind swept through the factory, extinguishing her lantern and plunging her into darkness. Panic surged through Olivia as she fumbled in the dark, the oppressive silence broken only by the sound of her rapid breathing. Then, a faint glow emanating from the depths of the factory caught her eye, a flickering light that beckoned her forward with a seductive allure. Steeling herself, Olivia followed the ghostly light, each step echoing ominously as she navigated the treacherous terrain. As she drew closer, the source of the glow became clear. A dilapidated control room bathed in an ethereal light that pulsed ominously with each heartbeat. Intrigued, yet apprehensive, Olivia cautiously approached the control panel, her fingers trembling as she deciphered the cryptic symbols etched into the rusted metal. Suddenly, the machinery roared to life with a deafening cacophony, sending shockwaves through the factory's decaying infrastructure. Alarms blared, lights flickered, and the ground beneath Olivia's feet trembled as the ghostly mechanic revealed himself. A spectral figure bathed in an ethereal glow, his eyes ablaze with fury and torment. Paralyzed with fear, Olivia watched in horror as the ghostly mechanic manipulated the machinery with a vengeful fury, creating traps and obstacles designed to ensnare her within the factory's labyrinthine corridors. Yet, despite the overwhelming odds, a newfound determination surged within Olivia as she realized that the key to defeating the ghostly mechanic lay hidden within the factory's dark secrets. Drawing upon her translation skills, Olivia deciphered the cryptic messages left behind by the tormented souls, unraveling the factory's tragic history and the injustices that led to the ghostly mechanic's torment. With each revelation, the ghostly mechanic's grip on reality began to weaken, his spectral form flickering and fading as the factory's dark past was exposed. Finally, with a triumphant roar, Olivia confronted the ghostly mechanic using her translation skills to communicate and appease the restless spirit. As the factory's machinery ground to a halt, a haunting silence descended upon the Bradley manufacturing plant, signaling the beginning of the end for the tormented souls trapped within its decaying walls. Exhausted yet victorious, Olivia emerged from the control room, vowing to uncover the truth behind the factory's dark past and ensure that the echoes of desolation were never forgotten. Yet, as she stepped out into the moonlit night, a lingering sense of unease gnawed at her soul, reminding her that some secrets are better left buried in the shadows. The dim light cast elongated shadows across the corroded machinery as Olivia delved deeper into the belly of the Bradley manufacturing plant. The air grew colder, each step echoing through the vast emptiness like a haunting refrain. The oppressive atmosphere weighed on her, a palpable sense of dread seeping into her bones. Drawn by an unseen force, Olivia found herself in a dimly lit room cluttered with rusted tools and decaying paperwork. Amidst the debris, she discovered a weathered journal, its pages yellowed with age and frayed at the edges. With trembling hands, she began to read, her eyes widening in disbelief as the tragic tale of the ghostly mechanic unfolded before her. The journal belonged to Thomas Bradley, a skilled mechanic who once worked at the factory during its heyday. His entries chronicled the relentless pressure to increase productivity, leading to grueling hours and dangerous working conditions. As Olivia read on, she uncovered a harrowing account of a catastrophic accident that claimed Thomas's life and sparked a series of cover-ups to protect the factory's reputation. As she delved deeper into the journal, Olivia's surroundings began to blur, replaced by haunting visions of the past. The factory came alive with the sounds of clanging metal and shouted orders, the air thick with tension and desperation. Workers toiled tirelessly, their faces etched with exhaustion and despair, oblivious to the impending doom that lurked in the shadows. Suddenly, a deafening roar echoed through the factory as machinery malfunctioned, sending sparks flying and smoke billowing into the air. Amidst the chaos, Thomas Bradley fought valiantly to control the runaway equipment, his desperate cries drowned out by the cacophony of destruction. In a heart-wrenching moment, the machinery exploded, engulfing Thomas in a fiery inferno and sealing his fate within the factory's walls. As the vision faded, Olivia was overcome with grief and horror, realizing the true extent of the factory's dark past. The ghostly mechanic's torment was born from greed and exploitation, his restless spirit condemned to wander the decaying ruins in search of redemption. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Olivia knew she must confront the vengeful spirit and expose the factory's dark secrets before it was too late. Gathering her courage, Olivia ventured deeper into the factory, guided by the haunting memories that echoed through the corridors. With each step she uncovered more clues, piecing together the tragic puzzle that bound the ghostly mechanic to his eternal prison. As the lines between past and present blurred, Olivia vowed to confront the malevolent entity and free the tormented souls trapped within the factory's decaying walls. In a secluded chamber, shrouded in darkness, Olivia prepared herself for the final confrontation. Armed with the knowledge of the factory's dark past and the injustices that led to the ghostly mechanic's torment, she knew the battle ahead would be fraught with peril. With determination burning in her eyes, Olivia took a deep breath and stepped into the shadows, ready to face her greatest fears and uncover the truth behind the echoes of desolation. The air inside the Bradley manufacturing plant hung heavy with anticipation, each echoing footstep Olivia took reverberating through the desolate corridors like a harbinger of impending doom. The once familiar hum of machinery had long since been replaced by an eerie silence, punctuated only by the distant drip of water and the haunting whispers that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. As she ventured deeper into the labyrinthine depths of the factory, Olivia felt an overwhelming sense of dread wash over her, a palpable tension building with each step she took. Her flashlight cast long, distorted shadows that danced across rusted machinery and decaying equipment, casting an ethereal glow that seemed to breathe life into the lifeless surroundings. The ghostly mechanic's presence was palpable, a malevolent energy that permeated the air, sending shivers down Olivia's spine. Despite the fear gnawing at her insides, she pressed on, determined to confront the entity that had tormented her and uncover the truth behind the factory's dark past. As Olivia navigated the maze-like corridors, the temperature seemed to drop, a chilling cold enveloping her as the ghostly mechanic's presence grew stronger. The air was thick with anticipation, each passing moment stretching out like an eternity as she prepared herself for the final confrontation. Her heart pounded in her chest, a rhythmic drumbeat echoing through the silence as she steeled herself for the battle that lay ahead. Suddenly, a deafening roar echoed through the factory, the sound of machinery coming to life sending shockwaves through the desolate corridors. Olivia's flashlight flickered ominously, casting fleeting glimpses of the ghostly mechanic as he materialized before her, a shadowy figure shrouded in darkness. His eyes burned with a vengeful fury, a haunting reminder of the tormented soul that lurked beneath the surface. Summoning all her courage, Olivia confronted the ghostly mechanic, her voice trembling as she spoke the words that would determine their fate. "I know why you're here," she declared, her translation skills unlocking the secrets that had bound him to the factory for decades. "I know what they did to you, and I'm here to set you free." The ghostly mechanic's rage intensified, a swirling vortex of energy engulfing them as he unleashed his fury upon Olivia. But she stood her ground, her determination unwavering as she sought to appease the restless spirit and expose the truth behind the factory's dark legacy. With each passing moment, the battle raged on, a relentless onslaught of supernatural forces colliding in a whirlwind of chaos and destruction. As the final confrontation reached its climax, Olivia's translation skills proved to be her greatest weapon, a beacon of hope in the face of unimaginable horror. Piece by piece, she unraveled the ghostly mechanic's tragic past, exposing the injustices that had bound him to the factory and the dark secrets that had remained hidden for so long. With each revelation, the spirit's fury began to wane, his vengeful energy dissipating as the truth set him free. With a final, haunting cry, the ghostly mechanic vanished into the shadows, his tormented soul finding peace as the factory's dark past was finally laid bare. Exhausted but victorious, Olivia emerged from the depths of the Bradley manufacturing plant, forever changed by her harrowing ordeal. As she stepped into the light, she vowed to share the forgotten histories of those who perished, ensuring that the echoes of desolation would never be forgotten. The air hung heavy with anticipation as Olivia Bennett stepped cautiously through the dimly lit corridors of the Bradley manufacturing plant. Every step echoed ominously, resonating with the haunting memories of the factory's dark past. The once vibrant hub of industry now stood as a decaying monument to greed and exploitation, its walls stained with the sorrow of lost souls. As Olivia navigated the labyrinthine corridors, she felt an overwhelming sense of dread clawing at her insides. The ghostly mechanic's malevolent presence lurked in the shadows, his spectral form haunting her every move. Yet, armed with knowledge and determination, she pressed forward, guided by an unwavering resolve to uncover the truth. The factory's decayed machinery groaned ominously, echoing the cries of forgotten workers who had perished within its walls. Rusted gears and broken conveyor belts lay strewn across the floor, relics of a bygone era, tainted by tragedy. Olivia's heart pounded in her chest as she approached the heart of the factory, where the ghostly mechanic awaited. Suddenly, a chilling gust of wind swept through the corridor, extinguishing the flickering lights and plunging Olivia into darkness. Panic surged through her veins as she fumbled for her flashlight, its feeble beam casting eerie shadows on the crumbling walls. The factory's haunting ambience intensified, a symphony of whispers and creaking machinery echoing through the void. Summoning every ounce of courage, Olivia pressed on, guided by the faint glow of her flashlight. As she reached the factory's core, she was met by the ghostly mechanic's haunting gaze. A spectral entity shrouded in darkness, his eyes ablaze with vengeful fury. A chilling silence enveloped the room as Olivia confronted the tormented spirit, her translation skills proving to be her most potent weapon. With trembling hands, she began to decipher the ghostly mechanic's cryptic messages, unraveling the factory's dark secrets and the injustices that had led to his torment. As the truth emerged, the spectral entity's malevolent demeanor began to wane, his vengeful spirit slowly succumbing to the weight of his sorrow. Tears streamed down Olivia's face as she communicated with the tormented soul, offering solace in his final moments. As the ghostly mechanic's vengeful spirit dissipated, a profound sense of peace descended upon the Bradley manufacturing plant. The factory's haunting echoes faded into silence, replaced by a newfound serenity that permeated the decaying walls. Olivia's harrowing journey had come to an end, and the tormented souls trapped within the factory's walls had finally found peace. Exhausted but triumphant, Olivia documented her harrowing experience, vowing to share the forgotten histories of those who perished. As she emerged from the Bradley manufacturing plant, forever changed by her ordeal, she carried with her the echoes of desolation, a haunting reminder of the dark secrets that lie hidden beneath the surface. Despite the horrors she witnessed, Olivia Bennett emerged stronger, determined to uncover the truth and expose the dark legacy of the Bradley manufacturing plant. As she continued her work as a translator and storyteller, she ensured that the echoes of desolation would never be forgotten, serving as a beacon of hope for those lost souls who had perished within its decaying walls.